My name is Joanna and I live in New York City. And this is my book, Hope's World, Exploring the ABCs in New York City. Have you ever been to New York City? You want to travel together? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in New York City. Her name was Hope, and she loved going on adventures to wonderful places with her mommy and daddy. They took her to these places to help her learn about new things. Hope was very curious, and she loved these lessons. Each time they did it, she would learn something new, and that was what she loved most. One day, Hope wanted to practice her ABCs. She looked at her mommy and said, "Please, please, 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 Mommy." Her mommy smiled, happy to see Hope act so eager. "I know just the place to go. The ABCs will be there." "Where?" Hope asked. She wrinkled her nose and raised her little hands curiously. "It's called a museum," her mommy replied. The building they went to was very big and white. It was filled with many things, some little and others big. One room had dinosaurs, and Hope thought they were great, especially the one that was happy and bright blue. "Hi, Hope. I'm Mosaurus," the blue dinosaur said. "But you can call me Moo." Is this your first time visiting a museum?" "Yes," Hope said, scratching her head. Actually, I'm here to practice my ABCs." I have an idea," Moo said. "I want to see the city. The city I now call home, right? And you want to practice your ABCs. If you show me the city, I can teach you all the letters you need to know. How about that?" A fun adventure was underway. "I live at the American Museum of Natural History," Moo said. "American starts with an A. That's the first letter of the alphabet." "Yay! I know A," Hope said, and she clapped her hands. A was awesome, but what letter came next? B. Billboards were everywhere on Broadway. Hope's eyes got wide and she grinned. "Wow, what a great place to explore," Hope said. "It's so beautiful here," Moo said. "I have never seen anything like this before." Both Broadway and billboards start with B, right? Hope had practiced another letter, B. B was blissful, but Moo wanted to see more. C. Coney Island was a fun and festive place. There were carnival rides and foods for every taste. Hope pointed at the famous Wonder Wheel. Let's go, let's go, let's go for a ride," Hope said. Okay. I'm going to be the very first dinosaur on the Wonder Wheel," Moo said, laughing. She was cool, right? But there were many more letters to go. D. Double-decker buses are fun to ride in the sun. You can see the whole city without having to run. Hope and Moo sat at the top level so they could observe everything. Look at all the people," Moo said. "And all the cars," Hope said. The double-decker bus ride was remarkable. They agreed that New York City is spectacular. D was delightful, but there was more to explore. E. Every eye at the top of the Empire State Building was wide. Moo and Hope could not believe how small everything looked from up high. "This is a very tall building," Moo said. And it's windy too, Hope said. She lifted her face to the breeze and her hair blew around as it pleased. E was exciting, but the next letter on the list was inviting. F. Feet were everywhere on the sidewalk. Hope and Moo stood outside a store on Fifth Avenue, watching everyone walk by. There is so much activity, Moo said. Where is everyone going? Maybe their families are waiting for them, Hope said. She knew she heard when Mommy and Daddy needed her. The two friends started walking from Fifth Avenue on their way to a new adventure. F was fantastic, but it was time to move on. D. Grand Central Terminal was enormous. Hope's eyes lit up as she watched the trains pull in and out. What a great way to travel, Moo said. Trains go so fast. I can run fast too, Hope said. I bet you can, Moo said. G was glamorous, but it was time for a new sight. How huge! That was all Hope and Moo could say. They looked at the Holland Tunnel. It's so shiny, it's so wide, Hope said. It goes on forever. Is there another side? It's so spacious, it would make an excellent home for a dinosaur, Moo said. I like H, Hope said. Hope also begins with an H, right? H was happy. But where else should they go? It's always fun to see something new. That's just what happened when Hope and Moo went to the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. They saw a submarine, a helicopter, and a space shuttle. This is amazing, isn't it? Hope said. I never thought it would be so much fun, Moo said. The two friends were very pleased with the experience. I was interesting, but they were in a bit of a rush. Joggers were everywhere, dashing and darting. Hope and Moo were in Central Park, one of the loveliest places in New York City. There were also jugglers juggling bright-colored balls. Hope and Moo tried to juggle too, laughing when the balls fell all around them. Juggling and juggling, what a fun way to spend the day, Moo said. J was jolly, but there were more letters on the list. K. Kids, kids, kids. That was the first thing Hope and Moo noticed when they were kidding around one of the best toy stores in town. Moo, this little blue dinosaur looks like you, exactly like you. Hope ran over to a stuffed animal. She greeted her new friend. Hello, how do you do? And over there, look, there is a doll that is exactly like you, Moo said. They agreed that the store had every toy a child would need. K was Cookie, but they had a new sight to see. Long lines of people were getting to get in. At Lincoln Center, a show was about to begin. This place is very wide and very grand, Moo said. Wider than any cave in my homeland. Hope giggled at her friend. He was funny and she liked that. L was lovely, but Hope wondered where to go next. M. Macy's was a merry and magical place. The very sight of it brought a smile to Hope's face. She thought of holiday parades as they rode to an escalator at the store. She told Moo about them, making him want to go. Then Moo reminded her with a very happy face. M is also for Moo. Isn't that great? M was marvelous, but there was much, much more to see. N. Never had the two seen so many books. They stood inside the New York Public Library and saw them everywhere they looked. Each one tells a story? Moo asked Hope. Yes, and sometimes it's about a dinosaur, Hope said. Then she leaned in and whispered in her blue friend's ear. We have to be quiet. Shh. They don't hear us. Shh. Anne was neat, but it was time to visit another letter. Another special treat. Oh, one very interesting place made Hope and Moo say, oh! It was Odd Fellows Hall, a building that looked like a castle. It must be fun to live in a castle, Hope said. Yeah, it must be, but hey, it's time to get going. Come on, we still have 11 letters to go, Moo said. O was outstanding, but another letter was about to take its place. P. Prospect Park was a unique place. It had 2 P's in it and was an inviting place to play in. Hope and Moo enjoyed a nice little picnic. Then they laughed and ran around, making their bellies wiggle as they giggled. Do you know what letter comes next? Moo asked Hope. She shook her head and said, I think so. P was perfect, but a new letter was waiting to be explored. Q. Queens, the largest New York City borough, was full of interesting attractions. Moo could not help but notice the Unisphere, a huge silver globe outside the Queen's Museum. It should have been called the Queensphere, Moo said. Hope was amazed at all the things the world could hold. They looked at each other with a sparkle in her eyes. They were already thinking of all the other adventures they could try together. Q was quaint, but the next letter couldn't wait. R. Really great sight, said both friends, looking left and right. Rockefeller Center was beautiful and bright. Hope looked at Moo, who gave her a sweet nod. She was happy he liked it. She felt it in her heart. I already love New York City, Moo said. R was remarkable, but 8 letters still remained. S. So many places to go in New York City, but not taking Moo to see the Statue of Liberty would be very silly. They rode the ferry out to the harbor and looked up at the statue with wonder. Oh, am I going to be this big when I grow up? Hope said. Trying to look as grand as the statue did, they raised their arms and pretended to have crowns on their heads. S was super, but there were more letters for the 2 troopers. T. Times Square was a very active place with people, restaurants, theaters, and bright lights blinking all over the place. Look at that! It looks yummy, Hope said. She pointed to a food court where she saw a treat that she would love to eat. And, and over there, I must stop and stare, Moo said, looking at a candy store that was filled with chocolate bars. He watched as a group of people gathered and cheered. T was terrific, but they still had other letters to practice. U. Up in the sky, the flags at the United Nations were raised high. There were so many, and it was wonderful to watch them. Hope tried to count them all as they waved in the wind. With her friend's help, she counted 193. Whoa, that's a lot of flags, Moo said. What a sight to see. U was uplifting, but they had to go because there were still 5 letters more. Very brave people. That's what the next place was about. Hope and Moo were at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Like at the library, it was no place to shout. The two friends stood very close and looked up at the tall wall. Standing next to it, they feel like kind of small, right? Let's go. It's getting late, Hope said. With a thank you and a wave, they left the plaza. There was no more time to waste. V was vigorous, but they had to run. W. Wallman Ring was so much fun. They had seen it when they visited the letter R, but now a new adventure had begun. Hope and Moo put on ice skates and tried to race. I think I'm faster than you, Moo said. They slipped and they slid. That didn't happen when they ran, but ice skating was great, even under the sun. W was wonderful, but it was time for the two friends to visit another letter. X's were all along Avenue X. It was a letter that demanded to be read. It was a crisscross on every street sign. It was on the names of stores and buildings, even in a place that sold treats. This is a fine letter, Moo said. I see it so much I can't get it out of my head, Hope said. She crossed her fingers, making an X. See, X, 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 she said. X was excellent, but two more letters were waiting. You can't see the city without seeing Yankee Stadium, a place where excitement rings. Look at the ball! Woo! Hope said. She pointed to the field. Moo couldn't believe what he saw. Men were hitting the ball with a bat and making it soar. Y made the two friends say, Yippee! But wait! There was still one more letter to go. What's the letter? Z. Zoos are full of interesting things. The Brown Zoo is one that has most everything. Moo and Hope walked around smiling at the animals and sometimes feeding them corn. Where are the dinosaurs? Hope asked Moo. Oh, we live in museums, Hope, not zoos, Moo said. Oh, what a pity, Hope said. Then Hope, she yawned, suddenly tired for a long day. That was such a long day. Z was for Z. The nap that Hope needed when she was done with playing. Thank you. Thank you for teaching me my ABCs, Hope said when they got back to the museum. Next time we see each other, you can sing them to me, Moo said. Then Moo took the spot he'd been at the start. Hope, honey, come on, it's time to wake up. Hope looked at her mommy and gave a small yawn. Mommy? Oh, you fell asleep, honey. It's been pretty long. Hope smiled. Mommy, I practiced my ABCs. I know them all, from A to Z. And, how exactly did you learn them when you were asleep, huh? Moo taught me. And who's that? My dinosaur friend, right over there, Mommy, Hope said, and she pointed her little finger to Moo and nodded. Mommy and Daddy just smiled. The whole way home, Hope sang her ABCs. She would never forget them because every letter was the one she would need. Do you know your ABCs? Did you like traveling to New York City with Hope and Moo? Bye-bye.